This episode is brought to you by Mailer's Aggressive Strength Testosterone Booster. They sent me some of the samples of this stuff and it really works. Now, unlike normal hormone replacement therapy or steroids, the Aggressive Strength Testosterone Booster increases your own production of testosterone by helping the brain communicate with the testes to signal a greater production of testosterone. Basically, it makes your balls talk to your brain better. In addition, Aggressive Strength blocks conversions of testosterone into estrogen and improves mood, focus, and ramps up the sex drive big time. So go to www.aggressivestrength.com and use the offer code ICE for 10% off. That's aggressivestrength.com, offer code ICE.
Upon initial contact with Ice-T's music, I had envisioned him to be an ill-mannered and psychologically unstable man with an extremely uneducated and barbaric frame of mind, whose raps displayed nothing but ridiculous jargon, shocking sexual audacity, and repulsive images of the ghetto. However, after further analysis of his music, I can deduce that he is the epitome of anti-disestablishment terrorism, who embodies the entire spectrum of the urban experience and struggle. But to make things more plain and simple to the layman, I find Ice-T to be the dopest, flyest, OG pimp, hustler, gangster player, hardcore motherfucker living today. To be honest, I am totally and completely on his dick.
Welcome to the Ice-T Final Level Podcast, featuring your co-host, McBenzo, and your host,
Ice-T.
Hey, yo, what's up out there? This is Ice-T Final Level Podcast number 17. Believe that. I got my co-host, McBenzo.
Yeah, we in the building, baby. Let's get it going, though.
That's what's happening. That's what's happening. And we got a very, very special guest here, Combat Jack.
Combat Jack.
Internet. What's up?
You mean the gentleman
in the building?
The gentleman that knows about HOP? Hip hop?
Yes, sir.
Oh shit, see?
Yeah, Combat Jack has the world's biggest hip hop podcast
Yes,
right
sir.
now, and he's out there and he's getting it in. He's not a bullshitter. He tells motherfuckers how he feels, and they get real controversial and complex on the Combat Jack podcast.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. You guys are being too kind, man.
But that's how you are. You combat Jack, because you don't give a fuck about what they say and what they don't say.
You know what?
You gonna let them know what it is.
You can't give a fuck, man, because they don't give a fuck.
Thank you.
Combat Jack.
That's
So what
right.
it is I got hip to Combat Jack through Africa Islam.
The Prince of Charm?
The man that put me on in hip hop. And I started listening to the Combat Jack podcast. And then out of nowhere, they got at me, you know, because he did something with Ben Baller, my buddy from L.A.
Yes, who spoke very highly of you,
That's
man.
my nephew.
Ben Baller, what up, man?
Yeah, Ben Baller said Ice needs to get on the Combat Jack. So anyway, they're calling me to be on their podcast. And I'm like, well, why don't you come over? We doing ours today. And my nigga's sitting right here.
Yo, let me tell you something, man. I was at a meeting earlier today, man. Some, Fifth Avenue fashion meeting, and we were drinking some vodka and actually some tequila.
Yeah.
So I was feeling nice,
Right.
knowing that my day was gonna be easy.
Easy day.
I got the text from Ice like, "Yo, you want to come on my podcast?" I got straight, jumped in the car.
Oh, you got
and
sober.
I got sober like that, B.
He told
That's
me
what hip hop can do, though.
No,
Hip
that's
hop,
what he
you get
does.
sober.
Look, my man told me, he said, I had some other, plans, but I'm canceling them.
Canceled everything for the Final Level
I
Podcast.
had to do some shit with the wife and kids.
Yeah, I'm
Oh.
right.
And I was
Okay.
like, "Hun, you can be mad at me. I'm out."
Wow.
Hey, that's what real niggas do, though. When it gets real, man. I always tell you, your buddy ain't the guy that parties with you. He's the one that when you call, he'll be standing there under the street light in the rain with the pistol.
Oh shit.
You know what I'm saying? Waiting on you like this is what's happening right now.
baby.
You
But you know
dig?
what? I got to applaud y'all, man,
Yeah.
because when we started the Combat Jack Show podcast 4 years ago, it was really accidental.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was like about a year and a half ago, somebody tapped me on the shoulder and was like, "Yo, Ice-T got a podcast now."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And because we were really comfortable in our space as that premier hip hop podcast, cats were like, "Oh shit, what you gonna do now?"
But we not in the
doing
same
what you
lane.
No.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is I've watched you guys go through you know, the process of building this brand. Like I'm really happy for y'all, like coming into this zone and creating your own lane.
Because that's because you a real dude.
Yes,
See,
sir.
you a real dude, man. There's enough. I always tell even rappers, I'm like, yo, don't worry about the other man selling records. You can sell records. He can sell records. There's enough for everybody.
But
It ain't like somebody gonna listen to the Combat and won't listen to the Final Level podcast. It ain't like they're gonna listen to us and won't. We gonna help each other.
Scarcity
Well,
is a
Combat Jack,
man-made
you know what it
concept.
is?
Yes,
A lot of people don't even know nothing about a goddamn podcast.
No, they don't.
That's what the difference is.
They don't.
I think they're gonna catch on. They're gonna catch on though.
They're learning right now.
You did it. We did. They're gonna catch on.
Yes,
He
sir.
been on 4 years. We the new Jacks right
Yeah,
here.
we the new Jacks in the building.
We the new, but we gonna interview Combat Jack in a minute about the whole podcast thing and how he got turned on to it later in the show. But
sir.
he's our special guest.
Thank you.
The last episode, you know, we left it up to the listeners. We let y'all talk and, you know, break down what was on your mind, like have a venting session. I think it was really good because there are a lot of crazy things going on in the world. The world is really not at rest at this moment, and we had to address it. You know, we laugh on this podcast. We try to give you something that's fun and entertaining, but thought-provoking. But I just thought at that moment, it was no time for no jokes. I just wanted to let the people know that we're not oblivious to what's going on.
Well, at the time, it was a state of emergency for us, so we gave it to our listeners to talk to them. You know, let the listeners talk to our listeners,
and it still is a state of emergency. But then there's a thing called whipping the dead horse. You know, we don't want to just sit up here and linger on that every show. You know, we'll go. We're going to do a normal show today, and then maybe next one we'll readdress things if things haven't gotten better. You know, but we're going to go in. This is Final Level Podcast number 17, and this is sports.
Oh, shit, man. You really want to talk about sports?
Let's talk about sports.
I got this young girl, 13 years old, Monet Davis, a female pitcher, not underhanded, overhanded pitching, damn near 70 miles an hour throwing that ball.
But break it down to me, player.
No, I'm saying basically, you know, Major League Baseball is all about men, right? I don't really think I see women play baseball unless they're doing a little underhand and, you know, playing. This little young female is playing in the Little League World Series. And they just lost, so she's out. But she was throwing the ball at a velocity of 90 miles an hour. That's really Major League Baseball. Pros throwing baseballs straight overhand, not underhand like little girls. Throwing. You heard about that, Combat Jack?
I heard about it. And is she playing with the boys?
Yes, sir.
She's the only female on the team?
Yes, sir.
That's amazing.
I'm telling you, Major League Baseball, there's going to be some ladies coming.
I don't see why you can't have a female baseball player. I mean, I understand the problems of girls wanting to play football. That's a contact sport.
Now, I'm open to that. I mean, I don't think there's no reason physically why a woman, if they could compete with the men, like this young woman is doing.
She's so good, she pitched a shutout game with no hits. No
Can
hit
she
is
hit?
not.
Can she hit?
Yeah, she can hit. No, she can hit, bro. She can hit. She's got baseball skills.
Because she, once again, you said she's playing with boys.
guys.
So she's knocking those balls out with their force.
Oh, yeah. They can't get past us. They can't get past us sometimes.
That's dope, man.
She's fly. Now, that's sports, baby. See? Real sport.
What's her name?
Monique Davis.
Monique?
M-O-N-E Davis. Monique.
Monique or Monet?
Monique.
Oh, Monique. Okay.
Monique Davis, sir.
So we can Google her.
Yeah.
I think everybody should go check out this chick. I want to see her throw a 90 mile an hour fastball. 13?
13 years old.
1-3.
She actually graced the cover of the Sports Illustrator. And that's been 60 years. They haven't had a kid.
The Sports Illustrator or Sports Illustrated?
Well, say what you want to say. I said what the fuck I said, man. Sports Illustrator.
Another word for the Mickey Benson Dictionary. Sports Illustrator
Be what you
magazine.
Want it to be, Mickey, right?
Right, you know.
And that was sports. This episode is brought to you by Squarespace. They're the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create your own professional website. If you can use Facebook, you can create a website on Squarespace. I built Ice-T, FinalLevel.com, and PBHgear.com on Squarespace, and you should use them too. Start with a free trial at Squarespace.com with no credit card required. When you're ready to purchase a plan, get 10% off with the offer code ICE. That's squarespace.com, offer code ICE. This is Final Level Podcast number 17, and this is TV. What you watching on TV now?
Check out my man 50 Power. That's kind of fly, baby.
We had spoke on Power earlier.
No, but I'm saying I didn't see the whole season.
Or you just binge watched it just now?
Yeah, while we were on tour, I watched the whole season. That kid got something. No, he really got something.
You know, I missed the whole season, and I gotta get back and binge and watch every episode.
You could nitpick it. You know, I loved it, but you can nitpick it because, you know, people, oh, well, this ain't real and that ain't real. But you got to remember, when you're watching television, everything is a little bit put, you know, things are built for drama.
A little fluffy.
You know, in the movie, in the show, you know, you got the drug dealer who's connected to a girl that he's decided to cheat on his wife with, who happens to be the DEA. Then you got his boy who is so gangster, but it decides he wants to hook up with a crackhead thief. So it's like, it's a lot of dumbness going on.
Fictionalized.
But it makes good drama, man. You know, it makes good drama. People love it and puts you on the edge of your seat. I think the production value was incredible.
I like it. I don't know that much. I like it.
Now, Ice, you're no stranger to television. With regard to how they fictionalized it, is this what you're accustomed to or used to seeing?
Well, even like on SVU, people always say, well, it's fake. I'm like, yeah, we got to solve a crime in 42 minutes. You know, I mean, that's not, crimes take months and years to solve.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, and every time the phone rings, it'll be the answer. You know, like, I wonder where they are. There they are. Or the DNA test comes in like 20 minutes.
Right.
You know, we know it takes a week. So that's TV shit. The one thing about acting is you have to suspend reality.
Right.
That's the key to being an actor. You know, like, once again, you know, with the rhetorical scenario of Ice-T playing a cop, it's always like, you can't be a rock star or a rapper and go on television and say, I want to play me.
Right.
That's not acting.
That's not acting.
That's not acting. They're going to say, we're going to make you combat that. You're going to be a school teacher.
Yeah.
Or can you act like a congressman? And you're like, well, that's not... No, you're acting, motherfucker.
Yeah, that is me. I could do that.
Yeah. Because acting is make-believe.
Yes.
So the stories are make-believe, but does it entertain you? It's entertainment. I was entertained by Power, and I'm very proud of the whole production company over there. That's 50 and them, and they did it. And once again, just like we were talking about early with the podcast, when he wins, it gives other people a chance to win.
Yeah, Combat won, so now we can win. See?
Exactly.
It's not competition.
No, not at all.
It lifts others.
Of course.
I'm a television producer. I want my shows on the air. You dig what I'm saying? I mean, even though we both rappers, if his show fails, that makes it harder. Oh, no, we took a chance with 50 Cent. It ain't work. Now, I can point at 50/50's work. Maybe, you know, this is how you build.
It opens the door.
I gotta say one thing, though, as far as TV go. We lost one of our good friends, man, Mr. Robin Williams, man. Funniest comedian of all times.
I work with Robin Williams.
Funniest guy, from Mark and Mindy to the new show. Mark and Mindy.
Mork.
What do you take that to? You can have that too. Mark and Mindy. Do what I do.
Who is Mark?
Do what I do. Nano. That was Nano.
That boy Mickey, man.
We lost our guy, though. We lost him. It was a great guy and a very funny guy.
And a real person.
Will be missed.
I met Robin Williams on the set of Law and Order. He came on as a guest star, and he was a genuinely cool person. And you know me, you a rapper, you this, that, and the other, and then you see somebody like him who's an A-lister. He took the time to come by my dressing room and tell me he was a fan and he knew my stuff.
That's hard.
I'm like, really?
That's hard.
Really? You know, and that was something you don't expect, but at the end of the day, we're all people. And everything that's on television, we all see together, all the movies. I remember I met Dustin Hoffman, and he was like, my kids love you. I was like, Dustin Hoffman.
Wow.
You know?
That's crazy, right?
That's big.
But this is where we are. So God bless Robin Williams. He was really a nice man to me, and that's a cold thing, you know. So you took me into a sad place with Robin.
No, it ain't not supposed to be sad.
What was the show? What was the cartoon you were talking about?
I'll get you there. It's actually live action. It's not a cartoon. It's called Black Jesus.
Black Jesus.
Black Jesus by Aaron McGruder, the same cat that did the Boondocks. You know, he's no longer doing the Boondocks for the Cartoon Network.
Okay.
He's doing Black Jesus.
What the hell is Black Jesus
Black
about?
Jesus is basically this black
on
dude.
VH1 or something?
No, I want to say it's on Adult Swim.
Okay,
I
that
want to
sounds
say
like
it's
a
on Adult
VH1
Swim,
show.
but it's
Black
live
Jesus.
action, and it's this brother, Jesus Christ, who lives in Compton, and you see him. I only watched the first 2 episodes. Last night they just aired the 3rd episode, but they show you him, gathering or developing his 12 disciples. And he's a regular brother, but every now and then he'll do some miracles. He ran into some essays, and this one essay had an issue with his eye, and then he healed the essay's eye.
So he's really Jesus.
He's really Jesus.
He's not a brother named Jesus.
It's like if it's
Jesus from the hood.
If it was like Jesus, if it was Black Jesus in 2014 in Compton.
Wow.
Why I got to
But
be
it's
in Compton?
Because that's where his father.
He could have been in the Bronx.
He could have been in the Bronx, but I'm gonna tell you, it's real good to see that. You know what I'm saying? Because it reminds me of when we really had a lot of black sitcoms on TV that were funny. It's still developing.
Right.
But I get a good feeling from this. Man.
Well, you know what? If Combat Jack says it's dope, I mean,
It's dope.
Because he don't like everything.
I don't like everything. But then we all know Aaron Magruder's track record. I think that brother's a genius. And I think he killed it when he was on the Boondocks.
Was
They
unbelievable.
They did a character on me in Boondocks when I was talking crazy to that little kid who I don't say his name about. It was a rapper, older rapper with a younger rapper, and my name was Thugnificent.
Wait a minute, Thugnificent is based after you?
Yeah, me and Homeboy when I was talking mess to Little Man.
That's crazy.
And they was like, and I was the old school rapper that was mad at the young school rapper, but I knew that was me. They didn't call him Ice-T.
Right.
That was Thugnificent.
That was funny.
I knew that was based on
I
me.
know Thugnificent, man, but for real, man, I strongly advise everybody to check out.
Okay.
And it's causing controversy too. Because
Why?
a lot of advertisers are complaining that, you got a Black Jesus in the hood turning empty bottles into 40s. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of pushback from the conservatives and the right wing.
Well, if they read the Bible, they said Jesus had nappy hair.
Yeah, exactly.
So come on, man, stop playing. Why can't we have a Black Jesus? You know what I'm saying? I want Black Santa Claus too. What the hell's the matter?
My wife, when she was 6 years old, recorded a very popular song called Santa Claus is a Black Man.
Mm-hmm. Your wife actually did? That's her song?
That's her song.
How about that?
They play it every year.
I ain't never had no guy in a red suit with a white beard come down my chimney because I lived in the project. So
you have a chimney?
Hell no. So how the hell was he, Santa Claus got to be one color.
Yeah, exactly.
My dad told me he bought all them damn gifts.
Hey, Black, yeah, exactly.
That was the Black Santa Claus.
That's crazy. So you got Black Jesus, you know what I'm saying? God bless him. Put out a Chinese Jesus and a Mexican Jesus. I know a lot of Mexicans named Jesus.
A lot. They're Jesus. Jesus.
That's
Papa.
right.
Jesus, Papa.
Christos.
That's what's up. And that was TV. We on podcast with Combat Jack, and this is not the Combat Jack show because he's on the Final Level podcast, and I will soon be on the Combat Jack show. And right now we're about to talk about movies.
Oh shit, movies.
Now here's a movie me and Coco went and seen. We went to see this movie called Enter the Storm. And Coco, my wife, happens to love weather. Okay?
She did a thing on television with the weather too. I saw that.
She's into weather. Don't get it fucked up. I don't know why. I kind of connected. She always wants to know what to wear because she likes to know how to dress. So she's into weather. But the girl sits and watches the Weather Channel.
Wow.
Like knows the people's names. Knows that like, oh yeah, I remember how long she's been on. Like that's like a favorite channel of her. So of course when this movie came out, Into the Storm, I figured we were going, and I was right. So now I'm sitting there watching Enter the Storm. Now, this is about storm chasers that chase tornadoes in Oklahoma. We just came through Oklahoma on tour. It's a crazy movie. It's good. It's wild. You go from one tornado. The difference between a hurricane and a tornado is you can see the tornado coming. A hurricane kind of just a super storm. Tornadoes are different. You see the motherfucker like coming at you. Now these people weren't no black. There's one black guy, the driver. I'm about to say wasn't no black people because black people were naturally scary shit. Like I always said, there'll never be a black horror movie. Motherfuckers say, what was that? That's the end of the movie. Niggas is out. What was that? Oh shit! Oh yo, the girl's possessed. Bam! Oh, my daughter. Ah, bam! Dead daughter. Nigga, we don't fuck around. But anyway, that's just some racially motivated bullshit jokes. Don't get over it. Anyway, so we're watching this show, and out of nowhere, every time they would get away from the tornado, barely with their lives, they would go back into the storm.
That's what storm chasers do. They actually go into it. Why do they name hurricanes after women most of the time? I'm trying to figure that out.
I don't think we ain't got to think about that.
You know why they name them after women?
Here he goes to the joke.
When they come hard and fast. When they leave, they take every goddamn thing.
Boom.
Yeah, but anyway, back in this storm, if you want to see some people that just irritate the fuck out of you, going back into a goddamn storm after they barely saved their lives, watch the movie, but it was entertaining. And then the next movie we all saw together when we were in Atlanta was the James Brown.
Get on up, boy. That was dope. James was a motherfucker, bro. Rest in peace, but he was something. He was very, very bossy from that Raleigh, North Carolina. He was one hell of a man and a very brilliant guy who knew how to make great music, though. He knew what he wanted.
Raleigh, North Carolina.
He's from Raleigh, bro.
He's from Georgia.
He's from Raleigh, B.
Georgia,
From
Augusta,
Raleigh, B.
Georgia.
Well, then take Augusta.
Then you put him. Oh, Lord.
Mickey's
Boy, that boy Mickey will put you out. Well, then you said Raleigh.
I like Mickey. It's going to be what he wants to
Raleigh,
be.
North Carolina, no, Augusta, Georgia.
He was
I just clouded. See, I know to get on his nerves. You get under his skin, he get pissed off. He gonna make it right.
You
just fucking me up today. Look. Combat Jack said, watch the TV show Black Jesus. I advise to go see the James Brown movie, Get On Up. The music alone is dope.
I heard I didn't see it, but I heard the dude's performance.
His performance was amazing. I don't know the actor. I think it was good. He's kind of more of a an unknown face, which made him that much more real. But, you can't be hip hop and not want to know about James Brown.
There would be no hip hop without James Brown.
Thank you. And James Brown, when you watch the movie, let me tell you who else you're going to be looking at. You're going to be looking at Prince. You're going to be looking at Michael Jackson. Mm-hmm. You're going to be looking at all these people that got moves that are James Brown up and down. You know what I'm saying? You watch the way they snatch their head back from the mic. That's James Brown. You see Bootsy Collins is in the movie.
He got inspired by Little Richard, though. Little Richard
put him on.
He inspired him.
Mick Jagger produced the movie.
Yeah. I just read this article about James Brown being mad that he had to open up for an unknown Rolling Stones.
Yes, yeah. And that's in the movie. That's in the movie.
He was like, if these motherfuckers are going to come on after me, I'm going to leave a hole smoking
in this room.
Take your stage now.
Yeah,
dude, that's what happened in the movie. This is what you see in the movie. That exact scene you just talking about happens in the movie. Go see Get On Up. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if it's not at the theaters and buy the bootleg. You just need to see it. It's part of our history. It's part of musical history. James Brown, man, it's you look at James Brown and you do see Mick Jagger. You got to know where these moves come from. You know what I'm saying? It's a great movie. Get On Up.
Yeah, Mick Jagger said he did his best. Every time he goes on stage, he's doing his best James Brown.
Oh, yeah. James was the man. He was the man.
You can't go wrong with James Brown. And the man did the mashed potatoes, man. It was crazy. And this dude knew what he was doing. He did the camel walk. He did all that.
He brought a lot of them dancers to life.
Yeah, it's cold. So
that's from Augusta, Georgia. You know that.
Yeah. From Richmond, Virginia. That's
I said Raleigh.
Raleigh. The fuck's
North
the matter
Carolina.
with this nigga? North Carolina.
What's it to be?
But it's Augusta, Georgia.
And that was movies. Okay, yo, this is Final Level Podcast number 17, and this is games. I've been falling behind on my gaming because we've been out on tour. I only got the 360 out there. I've been playing a lot of games. Like, I was playing old games like Dead Rising 2, just killing zombies and stuff. And, I enjoy playing games. For some reason, Mickey does not understand.
I don't understand why grown ass men want to sit home and play games. Enough that the kids do it.
Man, let me tell you something. I play games, and it's,
Speak on it, Jack.
man, it's entertaining. It's like watching a movie.
I don't play
And
no
if you-
motherfucking
if you,
games.
If you watch movies,
I don't play games,
but do
man.
you watch?
I ain't got time for
do you
games.
watch movies?
Yeah.
It's the same damn thing. It's the same damn thing, except you in the movie. Right.
Your fingers don't hurt when you fucking with them the controls.
What happens to your hands when you play? What do you get?
Carpet tunnel, man. Carpet tunnel, baby.
Copper tunnel?
Yeah.
I need some copper in my house on my pipes. But Ice, I got a question, man. Are you a PlayStation man or Xbox?
I play Xbox.
Okay.
And you should join my clan. If you don't got a clan, you should play.
See, I'm not on Xbox, so I'm on PlayStation.
Combat Jack, they sell those units though. You know that, right?
I know.
They do.
I
You
know
like
they-
to play game, pick up something new.
Look at you, the one that don't play. You tell a man to go out and spend no money on his shit.
You want him to join Sex, Money, and Guns, the clan. He goes, I ain't got that console.
Stay the fuck out of this. We not console
Yo, you're a
haters.
troublemaker right
yeah, this
now, man.
nigga's a fucking character, man. But he'll hurt somebody for me, so that's why. Mick, leave Jack as a guest. Jack is a guest.
I'm sorry, man.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sorry.
Jack's a guest. Now I'm gonna go on his show. He gonna fuck with me. Put me through the.
We're not gonna fuck with you, man.
Put me through the blender. I heard him put people through the blender. Okay, now listen.
Yes, sir.
The funny thing is when you online playing, and then your girl be like, "Hey, I'm going to bed." If you talk online to the guys and you go, "Yeah, man, I got to get off. My girl's going to bed." They go, "You got a girl there? What the hell are you doing online, man? Peace."
See?
No one is hating on your relationship. They all are like, a lot of them guys ain't got no girl.
That was a good one.
So they like, shit.
They-
why are
they
you
in their mom's basement?
Yeah, why are you here? But the new Call of Duty is coming out, and a lot of people are looking forward to that. My problem with my clan is we ran into console problems because when Xbox went to Xbox One, a lot of people didn't transfer over. Now people are slowly transferring over. So I think hopefully most of my clan will be on the Xbox One and we can all play together again
dope.
and lay shit down. The new game's got an entirely new system, entirely new modes, entirely new maps. And it's always fun when a new game comes out because everybody is on there. So all my gamers out there, you know what I'm saying, SMG should be back in full effect. And that was games. Hey guys, as I always say, real strength is a strong body and a strong mind. Also, if I didn't stay in shape, some young cat would just come outrun me or something and take my job at Law and Order. That's why I recommend Mailer's Aggressive Strength Testosterone Booster. Unlike hormone replacement therapy or steroids, the Aggressive Strength Testosterone Booster increases your own production of testosterone by helping the brain communicate with the testes to signal greater production of testosterone. In addition, Aggressive Strength blocks conversion of testosterone into estrogen and improves mood, focus, and basically just ramps up the sex drive big time. For detailed information, feedback from real-world users, and Aggressive Strength nutrition supplement bundles, go to www.aggressivestrength.com today. Be sure to use the coupon code ICE when you order to get 10% off. That's aggressivestrength.com, offer code ICE. Okay, Final Level Podcast number 17. We got Combat Jack, McBean, a lot of players in the building.
Yes, sir.
And this is music.
Well, on behalf of Music Combat Jack, have you saw the film me and Ice put together with my gentleman George and a guy named Paul Toogood called Art of Rap?
Yes, I did. Great movie.
We're going to turn that into, we got something really big coming in March 28th, March 29th.
Okay.
We're going to do our festival out in Amphitheater in Irvine, California.
Nice.
And hopefully we can take it further than that because we really want the audience and some of your listeners to understand the art of rap.
Okay.
And the artists that were in that movie.
Yeah, I would love to be a part of that, man.
Such as
You will.
Yeah?
You will.
Like I would love to introduce some of these acts on stage.
Well,
man.
you know what? You know what it is, Jack? Ever since we did the movie, I always wanted Mickey to, see, the thing is, I got a day job. So a lot of things I want, I can't just do. You know, so I wanted Mickey to get a tour going or do some kind of shows. And first we thought small, we thought House of Blues and this, that, and the third. We trying to get it together. And then recently we just came off the Mayhem Fest.
Nice.
But out there we ran into a gentleman named John Reese. Now John Reese is running this tour. You know, we knew John back from running Guns N' Roses, and he is actually the man when it comes to this kind of mega tour stuff, going across the country with this stuff. So Mickey and my other business partner and best friend Al P became good friends with John Reese. Mickey presented this project to John Reese, and he said, "This is a home run." So they got the right people now to make this happen. Keep speaking on it, Mick.
Well, we got, John Reese, and we actually got Live Nation involved.
Nice.
So it's official, you know? So got to first do the first two to see how it actually pans out. But, the acts like Curtis Blow, Melly Mel.
Now, I know y'all are shooting a doc around this.
No, we got possibly.
Hey, you're putting too much out there.
Too much jams, I'm sorry.
What we're doing,
too much damage collateral right there.
All right.
What we're doing with the art of rap is we're matching the old school artists with the new school artists. So if you got the Curtis Blow, then we're gonna, shoot for the YG.
Yes.
We're gonna shoot for the Wiz. We're gonna try to connect the
Snoop
dots
Wiz.
and try to bring the whole culture together under one roof.
See, but the thing about what we're doing with the art of rap is like I told Ice, when we're doing the art of rap, we're giving you the art of rap. We're gonna add break dancers. We're gonna add a DJ stage. We're gonna have walls standing around with spray cans so you can do some graffiti, because this is hip hop. This is not just a concert walking around stage.
It's a
holding
festival
your nuts.
we're gonna do.
You know?
Right now, we got the dates, we got the venue.
Nice.
We're trying to match every veteran with a new school MC. We're trying to put it all under one roof and making it something that hip hop is very proud of, and everybody feels comfortable coming to. Something, like what they do with the rock festivals is they start off in the afternoon and then they build to the big acts at night on the big stage. So they build and the audience gets bigger and bigger. We were playing to 30,000 people
every night.
Wow.
25 cities.
25.
Every night.
Yeah. So the Art of Rap Tour, like we like to under promise, overproduce here. The Art of Rap Tour is in the works. We have a tentative date when?
March 28th and March 29th at the Irvine Amphitheater. That's going to be the first two festival days from 1 o'clock in the afternoon to 11 o'clock.
Nice.
So if you're a hip hop artist out there, tell your agent, your people to check into this, because we're going to fill it up. This is what happened with my movie. When I started shooting it, I had like 5 people, Big Daddy Kane and Rakim and all that. And then by the time we got to the end, we had like 70 people.
When the word got out.
Right. This is what's going to happen with this tour. What's going to happen is the biggest diss will be not being on it.
Yeah.
People going, why wasn't I on it?
Well, why the hell weren't you on it?
Well, when you get the call to be on this tour,
Take it serious.
Take it serious.
Stop what you're doing in your meeting. Do
take
like
it
I
serious.
did. Do
Take
like I
it
did. Put the
serious.
drink down and drive.
Take it serious.
We just got some official lock-ins today. Public Enemy
Nice.
official. We got people.
We got hits, man.
We got official people. So Art of Rap Tour is in the works. And as I said earlier in the episode, we have a special guest, #1 hip hop podcast in the world, Combat Jack, is in the building.
Yes,
What's
sir.
up, Combat?
What's up, Ice? What's up, man? What's up, Internet?
What's up, baby?
Internet.
So we need to know, man, you've been doing the podcast thing long before us.
Like 4 or 5 years, right?
4 years ago. 4 years ago this month.
Okay, congratulations.
How did it happen?
To make a long story short,
Make it long.
I'm an entertainment attorney.
Okay.
Started out in the music business. Some of my earlier clients were Jay-Z and Rockefeller and Damon Dash, and I worked real closely with Puff, and like a lot of the stuff that was coming out of New York City in the 90s, we were touching that. Me and my friend was touching
Okay,
that.
back up.
Yes, sir.
You're an entertainment attorney.
Yes, I am.
So you're an attorney.
Yes, I am.
So you've gone to law school.
Yes, Georgetown University, Cornell undergrad.
Oh, shit.
You know what I'm saying? So the
I'm
attorney,
not
you got
fucking around.
any criminal back? Because sometimes we.
Oh,
need-
I got an army of criminal attorneys that will eat your case.
Ooh.
Oh.
That will
Damn
eat
it.
your
Every once
case.
in a while, we step in some shit we can't get off our
Damn
shoe.
it. Are they
Combat
all in
Jack
New
is
York?
not to
All
be
in New
fucked
York?
with.
I don't, huh?
They all in New York or
All
they
in New
spread
York.
out?
I mean, a lot of them are spread out because, I met a lot of colleagues throughout my years in the bar. But my core my core crew was in New York City.
Okay.
So.
But you know, now y'all
Jack.
can't see Combat Jack, but Combat Jack got the EPMD bucket hat on. He got the tats.
Nah,
he got
come
all
on,
that.
man. Why you going? He got the fucking Gilligan's Island on, man.
Nah,
Knock it off, man.
Hey, yo, this is the bucket right here. The bucket.
But you know, I mean, now look, I'm looking at Combat Jack. I did not know Combat Jack was an attorney, and I got to just give up that respect.
Now that's dope.
I mean, my man LP's brother is an attorney.
That's hot.
This is what we talking about. But continue the story.
But, you know, I've always been, you know, I'm like you, I'm first generation, like us. Mm-hmm. I'm first generation rap fan. Mm-hmm. So all throughout my education, rap was always the soundtrack of my life. Okay. I came out of Georgetown. First gig I got was in 1989 as an intern at Def Jam in the legal department.
Okay.
This is when PE was running things and third base and the whole nine. Mm-hmm. So opened up my firm in 95. From 95 to like 2004, I rocked, and then I got burnt out, man. Mm-hmm. I got burnt out. I felt like I had something to say. I felt like I had to find my own voice. And I remember hiring a younger cat, James McMillan, an attorney, James McMillan. He would come into the office with so much passion. Let's get this. Like, he used to talk about how he was going to bring Southern music into New York City. He was representing 8-Ball and JG and them. Mm-hmm. And he did like the Slim Thug deal and the whole nine. But this kid had so much energy, and I used to look at him and be like, if that man has that much energy doing this, I got to find that shit for me. Mm-hmm. So in 2004, I was like, yo, I'm gonna take a break. I took a break, and right when I took a break, I landed a book deal with Bloomsbury, which is the UK publisher that owns the worldwide rights to Harry Potter. But it was a hip hop book. It was called Bling, the history of hip hop jewelry. Mm-hmm. But that's when I discovered.
I remember that book.
I did that book. I wrote that book.
Okay.
And when I started doing research for that book, that's when I discovered the internet. Really discovered the internet, because back in 2003, we wasn't fucking with that shit. No. But I discovered blogs, and I was seeing these little kids write about them, and they were really bold. You know what I'm saying? They were saying shit that you don't say in the music industry. Right. But it brought out this little kid in me. I was like, yo, I could tell y'all some stories that I've seen. I'm not gonna shit on nobody. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be a grown man about this.
That's not necessary.
But I'm gonna tell y'all some stories that's gonna even out your understanding of who the Puffs are, or who the Damon Dashes are, or who the Leors are. Mm. So because I was close to the industry, a book that was out at the time was called Generation Kill, which became the short series on HBO. Right. But at the time I read it, and there was a chapter in there called Combat Jack. And I was like, you know what? Because I'm a professional, because I'm too close and not comfortable with writing these stories online, right? I'm gonna have an alias.
Well, let me pause on that. Yes. What you just said was a jewel. Like, if you come from something, you have another perspective on it, and like that's one of the benefits I have from being so long in the game. Yes. Because what you see today, I saw a long time ago. Mm-hmm. Like you spoke on Lior. I mean, Lior ran a club in LA called the Mix Club.
So you knew him from back then.
Yes. And
before Run DMC.
Before it all. And he would bring Run and them out there to perform in Houdini at his club. Mm-hmm. That's how he met Russell. And I remember when Lior told me, because we were friends, I would, no matter who he would bring in from out of town, I would be the opening act, because I was the LA act. Right. And he told me that he was going to go to New York to manage Run DMC. And I'm like, Lior, you're out of your fucking mind. You're a club promoter. Right. Russell liked him. And at the same time, once again, that's when Glenn Friedman was in the game.
What up, Glenn?
And Glenn was a friend of Rick. Mm-hmm. And he was giving me all the insight on Public Enemy before it came out and all this stuff. But it was weird. And then in Crush Groove, I saw Lior in the dorm. And I'm like, he's really doing it.
He's doing it.
Next thing you know, I come out, it's the Dope Jam Tour or whatever, Fresh Fest or something like that, and Lior is the man.
The man.
He's the man. He actually did what he set out to do. But the beauty of it, Lior went on later on to run Warner Brothers Records.
Yes, he did.
And all that.
And now he's running his new label, 300 Group.
No matter when I see Lior gives me the love from when I known him. Mm-hmm. He had, how people change.
Yeah.
Lior is like, oh, Ice-T, like it's wonderful to see Lior didn't change. I mean, of course, he's super powerful.
Of course.
But the relationship,
is the same.
And that what you have in your experience with so many people.
Well, that's the thing. So as I was writing, like I didn't know anything about the internet. I thought I was writing to a bunch of kids, and that would be it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't at the time.
I noticed you call them nets.
We call them the internets, baby. Internets, interconnected networks.
Right.
So I'm writing, and then all of a sudden now I did a piece on Damon Dash. And then I noticed there's like 100, 200, 300 comments. And that was people that I know. And these cats are like, yo, Reggie Osei, is that you? You know what I'm saying? So now I had been exposed, but it was in a good way. You know what I'm saying? And after a while, I think like around 08, 09, like writing long form on the blogs, that really started to change where it became content aggregation. And so cats weren't reading as much. And as I was writing, I think I got everything out of my system as a blogger. And somebody approached me and was like, yo, do you want to do online radio? We started out at this small radio company in Brooklyn called PNC Radio. We started the Combat Jack Show, me and my former co-host Dallas Penn and A-King. And we just started talking. It was just a group of, like how y'all do. We had the games and the sports and the politics.
Just start kicking it around.
And then, we started getting some popularity. And then I remember our first guest, because we weren't guest-oriented. Our first guest was Sean Price, Matthew Ragazzino, and Super DJ Clark Kent. And I was like, hold up, I like this interview shit because it gets me to bring the knowledge of 20 years of knowledge as a professional and most importantly as a fan and talk to my colleagues. So you understand what I'm saying?
One thing I notice even when I listen to your show is that, you guys talk to the person, you bring out the information, but not too many now people think in order to have a show or radio, you gotta hate. Like
fuck that.
You gotta talk negative. My theory is the way I'm gonna hate you is I'm not gonna acknowledge you.
Right.
I won't talk about you. You won't be my guest. I got too many people I want to lift up versus just dissing people and bringing up people's problems.
Corny, man.
It's corny.
That shit is corny.
That's regular radio. That's gossip.
Yeah, and my thing is,
it doesn't help nothing.
Nah, let me tell you, man. I love my culture. I love this culture. I've been able to thrive in this culture. I just sent my 2 sons to China and Italy. I mean, and Paris. You know what I'm saying? I love this culture. So everybody that I bring on the show, it's like let's put this whole mosaic together. You know what I'm saying? If I talk to Russell Simmons and he says something about Jessica Rosenblum, I'm going to interview Jessica Rosenblum. And if Jessica Rosenblum says, well, Talib Kweli used to be my intern, that's my next guest. You know what I'm saying? I want to fill in this piece of the puzzle that you don't hear anymore in 2014.
I love how y'all was fucking with Glenn about being a vegan.
Yeah, well, no.
Glenn is a motherfucker.
We weren't fucking with Glenn Freeman.
He was fucking with y'all.
That's a motherfucker.
Glenn is a motherfucker.
I'm so mad, man. Glenn's so fucking mad.
Glenn is just super opinionated.
Yes.
But
that's what it is.
But I love Glenn because he'll tell you your shit.
Yes.
He'll let you know. He's been there. He's seen it. He knows real shit. And he's gonna tell you, he'll tell you, Ice, that fucking record sucks. Don't put that fucking record out, whatever you do.
Get mad about it.
Because he loves you.
Right.
He'll tell you the shit. And he's one of the very few people that you're gonna have to deal with it and shit. And Glenn, like, it's funny because like we did a remake of Suicidal Tendencies record on Body Count, Institutionalized, and on it I go on this rant about this guy telling me not to eat this food and he's a vegan, and I'm like, fuck a vegan, I don't give a fuck if he eats sawdust. And so Glenn turns out to be the manager of Suicidal and the owner of the publishing. We got to go through Glenn. So I'm like, oh shit, Glenn is super vegan. And then Glenn was like, yo, Ice, you went in hard on the vegans on that record, yo. I'm like, yeah, man, but he says, I approve the shit. What, motherfuckers don't think I got a sense of humor? I approve the shit. I know you, Ice. I know, but I remember, when I heard y'all interview, I'm like, these niggas is ill, but they fair, and that's how you get conversation going. You gotta get it going.
Everybody got a story, man. Everybody got a story. And what's more importantly, everybody that contributed to this culture has an amazing story. A lot of these kids have never heard these stories before. So in 2014, when, black culture or something that was traditionally black culture is now urban culture. And, you see a little bit of whitewashing going on. And, the kids growing up with the impression that their history doesn't matter. I'm very fortunate to be my age and in this spot where I could bring people to a contemporary platform and the kids love it. And my peers. Like, yo, when we first spoke, I was like, oh shit, I just fucking spoke to Ice-T, B. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. So like this is the best position I've ever been in my life. And now I'm running like how my man was running. The dude that I hired that has so much passion.
You feeling it.
I'm running harder than these kids right now.
Yeah, because this is what it is. You know, with hip hop especially, it is a culture, and it's a lot of the kids don't know. Like when we did the art of rap, they don't know it, and they just don't know where to get it. Right. It's not that they don't want to know it. It's just that no one's giving it to them.
And there's too much information out there anyway, so sometimes you got to just serve it to them.
And you know, I say, you know, if you love an art form, you want to know the history. It's just part of it. It's like being a jazz player and not caring about Miles Davis.
That's basically what our problem is with like Africa Bambaataa and Kool Herc and Grandmaster Melly Mel. It's like the young youth entertainers today don't reach back out to the Ice Cubes and say, yo, you know, why don't you get on the record with me because I heard the record you did, that inspired me. They keep it moving like we don't exist anymore. So you gotta know where you come from.
They don't even know you exist. Exactly. They it's not their fault. It's just such distant history. You got to remember that, you know, when I started rapping, Cold Crushing them was already 5 years behind me. Yeah, so when you have a kid now that's 17 years old, he doesn't know unless somebody tells him.
Well, that's the object of the art of rap. We have to show them where this music called hip hop as a culture came from. And anyone can say anything they want. It came from the Boogie Down Bronx. And we're going to continue to teach and teach and teach as Universal Zulu Nation members until it gets embedded into their mind.
Yeah, but one thing is, though, and Combat Jacks will explain it, and I totally understand, some people care and some people don't.
Right.
Well, that's why we're doing a Universal Hip Hop Museum in the Boogie Down Bronx.
There's no way
you can figure out and find out your history about this music.
But Mickey, if you don't care, you don't care.
They will. We have no platform for them, Ice. When I give them this museum in the Boogie Down Bronx from the Universal Hip Hop,
they won't go if they don't care.
People go to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
They don't care. This is what my point. You have to understand the point. I understand. Those that do will seek out the information. Others that don't care just don't care.
Right. What I learned about hip hop is it's still got to be entertaining. You can't preach to your audience. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what we do. We created a show that's real entertaining. It takes you back where you can smell the blunt smoke in the air. You know what I'm saying? Or you can feel the tension when the guns came out or where Puff did his first deal. We take you there, but it's real entertaining.
Right. It's and the people that tune in to Combat Jack show are those that care.
Those that care. But a lot, you know, we got a lot of an increasing younger audience that really wouldn't care until they hear these stories because they didn't know if they cared or not.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Reaching backwards is always an interesting procedure.
Right.
You know, me myself, I just tell it to you, and those who give a fuck get it, and others, you know, I have to always go forward.
Right.
You know, but the history of hip hop and where we come from and what we've been through, it's what it is.
Yeah.
And thank God for Combat Jack show. And now, question though, so how did you get turned on the podcast?
Well, the radio station that we were working at, they had to undergo some renovations, and they were going to take like a 6-month break. And I couldn't afford to take a 6-month break because online, digitally, when you're building a brand, you have to be consistent. You know what I learned.
We're learning that.
Yeah, what I learned, and this is something that I think every podcaster should know. You have to train your audience when to expect your podcast. So if we deliver every week, every Tuesday, we better damn well deliver every Tuesday. So that puts pressure on us. You know what I'm saying, like, I'm not doing as many things as you are. I'm not touring the world a whole nine. This is really what I'm focused on. So every week, we deliver as close as possible a show every Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? And I find myself in a position also where we're not just going back. I'm talking to contemporary artists, and I'm talking to new artists. You know,
I heard you and Jeezy.
Jeezy was a dynamic. This week we just did the Jeezy episode. That was dynamic. I also just interviewed yesterday Kevin Gates, who's this brother from New Orleans, crazy brother, young brother on the come up. So, but I try to tie the past, the present, and the future. And the craziest shit I heard that was really misguided, I'm sure you heard about it also, was from another major media outlet this year when they were saying that Chuck D was irrelevant. It really put me in a position for Chuck to really notice my voice, because Chuck wasn't doing any interviews, and he's like, I hear what you're doing, but I'm not doing any interviews, until he heard one of our episodes, the Freddie Fox episode.
Right, Freddie's the homie.
Man,
Bumpy Knuckles.
When Chuck D heard that episode, he's like, I got to be on your show. Yo, that's one of the biggest honors I lived through as a rap fan.
Right. Well, that's what it is. I'm saying, you know, the people that you want to talk to, they're going to hear your work first. It's just like making a record. You're going to know what the other person sounds like before you even collaborate. So you had to respect me to come on my show. I had to respect you to return the call to be like, I'm down, you know, but then that comes through your folks. Like, okay, well, Ben's my dude. This is the way people get down in life, you know.
I can't wait for your interview, B.
The crazy shit with Chuck D and being irrelevant, this new word that these motherfuckers want to throw around daily, relevance and this, that, and the third. I always tell people, relevance is all perspective.
Yes.
You know, what's relevant to you might be the new sneakers. What relevant to me might be jet fuel.
Of course.
So when you tell me Chuck D ain't relevant to you, dumb motherfucker, but he's relevant to a lot of other people. So the relevance is just based on your perspective.
Yes, yes.
And that word, you're irrelevant to who?
That's a dangerous word right now, because that's how you really eliminate somebody's power. Don't listen to that cat. That cat is irrelevant. And
to who?
To whoever their audience.
To their audience.
That's the key.
But the dangerous thing is when that's coming from a big platform. When it's come from a big platform.
Well, that's when I let go of the Source back in the days, because, you know, there was a point in time where the Source magazine
was the Bible.
Yeah, and then I'll never forget, I dissed them on a record called It's On, because in one magazine, I was picked as one of the top artists of the year. On the back, they dissed me, Chuck, and Ice Cube. And I said, you diss Chuck Cube and me, how the fuck you pick us three? You know, you just I dissed them, bunch of hoes making money off the pros. It's like, I always said, like, you're not the source, we're the source. You're reporting on the source. Right. You know, so I kind of lost it on the Source on that one. I'm like, you trying to play, in the pimp game, we call that kiss kick. Like, one page you dissing me, the other page you loving me, so you're covering both sides. Pick a side, motherfucker. You either like me or you hate me. Don't try to diss me on this page and love me.
That kiss kick, right?
Yeah, it's kiss kick.
Yeah.
You know, we gonna say we hate a nigga, but then on the next day we talk. That's that bullshit. You playing both sides. So fuck who's. I mean, I also said just recently with this shit that went down in Ferguson, I said it's very funny when the Ferguson shit hit. My timeline blew up. Yes. Chuck's timeline blew up. KRS-One. It's like, why are y'all hitting us up? Because where's the new leaders? Why are you coming back to us irrelevant motherfuckers now?
So irrelevant, right?
Right. They have none.
You know, Talib is out there. He
definitely.
But there's a few. Mm-hmm. But why aren't there somebody new? You know, like I say, Jeezy.
Jeezy was out in Ferguson. He was one of the first cats out there. Mm-hmm. Didn't need the cameras or anything.
Well, you know, I know I can feel, you know, this game in life, man, with these cats, you can feel them. Real niggas can feel niggas. Yes, I can feel you. I can tell what's up with you. That's how keeps you alive in the streets. You know, when you dealing with niggas, you like, yo, man, that nigga's shady, Ice. I felt so. I might be blind to it.
Right.
Your boy will be like,
something ain't right.
Something ain't right. Well, that's what you can feel with a lot of these cats, you know. And the only reason I didn't run off and go to Ferguson was just I didn't really feel what I could actually do other than cause trouble or get in trouble out there. And I said, you know what? Then, you know, it might look like it's an attempted grandstand or some shit. So I said, you know, and then I was like, if I'm gonna go to Ferguson, why don't I go to Chicago? I mean, shit is hotter in Chicago right now. So sometimes you just got to sit back and think it out. I mean, I read The Art of War, and they say that a general can not only be courageous, he must be wise. So a lot of times, if I don't have the answers, I just sit back and think and try to figure it out. Jello Biafra told me, he said, anytime you bitch about something, spend a day figuring out the solution for that.
Yeah, stop bitching.
Spend the day.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about the cops, and we came up with a solution, which was the cameras on the cops. That's not the final solution, but it's
a solution.
Throwing something in. Don't just bitch to me. Give me something, or you're just bitching. You know, and then you're mad because I don't have the answer, but you don't have the answer either. So why you mad at me? But Kanye said, you don't have the answers. Well, we're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there. So what's next for the Combat Jack movement, man? You're gonna have Ice-T as a special guest.
Of course, I can't wait to have the legendary Ice-T.
Yeah.
On the Combat Jack show. But you know, it's funny now because we're starting to get the calls and Hollywood's trying to develop something in terms of television show, but I got to just make it right. You know what I'm saying? Because you're
an attorney. You know how to look at that paper.
I know how to look at the paper, but the thing is, a smart attorney will also have another attorney looking at his paperwork.
Oh, for sure.
Because now I'm doing
OJ had 10 of them.
Yeah, now I'm doing the talent right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I could get caught up in my brand and be irrational or whatever, so I want other people to help me, you know, negotiate the deal. But as these opportunities start coming to the table, I just got to make sure, and you understand this, Ice, because you've been there. You know what I'm saying? When you get on a bigger platform, you can't afford to lose your core.
Here's your trick. I'm giving you your artist game.
Yes.
Here's your artist game. Just stay true to yourself, man, and don't be so hungry that you do something you normally wouldn't do.
Right.
If fame is meant for me, I'm gonna maintain my integrity, and we'll see what happens. And if it doesn't happen, then it wasn't meant to happen. But, you know, take it nice and slow. Even my wife been in the business for a long time. I said, you know what your advantage is? You don't need any money. You're okay. So if it's not going to be beneficial, you don't have to do it.
Of course.
And that saves you from doing a lot of dumb shit.
Yeah.
So if you're not hungry to be on TV, you're in your best position.
Yes, sir.
That's my game.
Yes,
if
sir.
you're not really starving for that, if you're not starstruck, like I want to be on TV, then that's your best position.
Right.
And then you play it from that position. Like, yo, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. And then that way they can't sway you out of pocket.
You know what I learned? I learned the most. I've heard this before, but this year, because last year we had a deal with Complex, and we had a TV show with Complex, and that was cool. It opened up our platform. People that would ordinarily hear about the Combat Jack show saw it online, and that's how I got a whole wider audience. And when that deal ended, last year I spent the rest of the year looking for the next deal. And I realized the quality of my work started to...
Because you're looking for the next deal.
Looking for the next deal. And I remember when I had Jessica Rosenblum, shout out to her, she was telling me that the best advice she ever got from the late, great Chris Lighty was stay in your lane and perfect your game. And that's all this year has been, is just staying in my lane and perfecting my game.
I'm going to read... Chris Lighty was my nigga, and I'm going to tell you that's the key to the game. Just keep putting out good product, and shit will come.
Yes, sir.
You know... Even this year, man, we put out, even me, myself, people are like, well, what are you going to do with your record with? I'm like, I just got to put out a great fucking record.
That's it. Don't worry about the noise.
Shit is going to happen.
Yes.
You know, we've been doing this podcast, me and Mickey, and things happen. Just keep doing dope Combat Jack shows.
Yes, sir.
That's what's going to make people hear about you. You're going to get more people from our listeners going to hear about you.
I can't believe I'm here right now, man.
Oh, you are, though, baby. You are. Combat Jack's here.
Like ice.
But I'm not here because you star. I'm here because of your show.
Right.
And that's what Jessica was telling you. Just keep doing your shit. And then all of a sudden people are going to start calling. Oh, well, could you do this? And we have an idea to spin it this way. We got an way to spin it this way. And if you ain't hungry and you ain't thirsty,
that shit don't feel right. If it don't feel right, all money ain't good money, right, T?
Man, how often we say that?
All money ain't good money.
And also, you got to have people around you that understand that too.
Yes.
Because if you got thirsty people around you, they're going to point you to do the dumb shit.
Right.
Just wait.
I think I got some good people around me that's not that thirsty. We've had a lot of opportunities that we didn't jump on.
Yeah.
Because it just didn't feel right.
Well, Mickey's one of my co-managers, and I know a lot of time I turn down shit, and he wants me to do it. You know, we get a little percentage.
You get mad, Mickey?
He knows me.
You say you don't want it, you don't want it.
He knows me. He knows me. He's like, man, because at the end of the day, Ice has been driving this ship.
Yes.
The nigga knows when to say no and when to say yes. One fucking mistaken deal.
You can't walk away from that shit,
could
B.
fuck the whole shit up. The closest I ever came really to getting fucked was when I met my manager. I had a tape and I went to Island Records and I played the tape. This is before anyone ever heard Ice-T. And the guy wanted to buy my publishing for life for $10,000.
Damn.
And George, my manager, was an intern there. And when the boss left the room, George says, I do college promotion, but the only way you should sign that deal is if you never plan on making a record. That's the only way you're going to win. He says, people sell their publishing for millions of dollars. If you're really planning on being an artist, don't take it. Now, to me at that time, $10,000 was a Braun. That was a big Cadillac. You know,
that was legal money.
That was. I would have been the
Ballin'.
shit. $10,000.
Right.
Yeah, I would have came back to the hood zesty that day, and I was touching right then. I wasn't having money, but he stopped that deal.
That's dope,
and then
man.
he said to me, I said, well, what do you want? He said, let me take this tape and let me see if I can make something happen. And he's been my manager for how many years, George? 30 years, no contract.
Wow. Yep. The best contracts I've seen are the handshake contracts.
Yeah, no contract and stuff. I always wanted to do a book called the Show Business Fuck Book. Maybe me and you could do it together.
Yeah, we could do it.
Basically, everyone in show business has
Gotten fucked.
That's okay.
Hey, yo.
That's it.
Okay. Right. All right. But they are still successful.
Yes.
Okay, so Combat Jack, man, anything you else let's plug everything.
Listen, internets, we're on iTunes. We got a great deal with iTunes, man. We get great real estate. iTunes, The Combat Jack Show. Go to SoundCloud, The Combat Jack Show, and go to thecombatjackshow.com. On Twitter, I'm combat_Jack. Yo, fuck with us, man.
You won't be
free?
sorry.
Is the show free for them?
Show is free.
All right, they ain't got to pay nothing.
We're about to start putting some paywalls, though, on some of the premium
On the
episodes.
archives.
Archives and maybe some premium. So we're talking about it right now. But right now, everything we got 4 years of content online for free. Digging those crates. It's a lot of gems. You're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna find out a lot about this culture, man. And it's funny, man. You're gonna have a good time.
And podcasts, initially, a lot of things weren't based around, what we do, hip hop and things of that nature. If that's something that you're into, check out Combat Jack Show. You won't be sorry.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Ice.
All right. That's the business. Hey guys, I talk about Squarespace all the time on the Final Level podcast, and that's because they really are the business. I recently redesigned IceTFinalLevel.com and put my most recent episode on the homepage. I made it easy for all you guys to subscribe to the podcast right off the homepage and made the whole site look even doper on mobile devices. I love Squarespace because it gives me all the tools I need to make something great at an incredible price point. As I always say, if you can use Facebook, you can use Squarespace. Start with a free trial at squarespace.com with no credit card required. When you're blown away and ready to confirm a plan, just use the offer code ICE to get 10% off. You'll be getting a great deal and you'll be supporting the podcast, helping to keep it free. That's SQUARESPACE.com. Offer code ICE. And also, don't forget to send in your Squarespace sites to iceandmick@gmail.com, and we might even talk about them on the show. That's squarespace.com, offer code ICE. Hey, yo, this is Final Level Podcast number 17 now. We talked on a long time ago on podcast about me doing the audio work or the voiceover work or reading the audio book of a Dungeons and Dragons book. Well, guess what? The goddamn book is out. People seem to love it. They tit me on Twitter talking about they heard it already. And we have on the line right now Bob Salvador, who actually is the author
Wow.
of this
He's
book.
calling in right now?
He's on the line.
What's up,
shit.
Bob?
Hey, Bob.
Hello.
What have you been up to, man?
Not much, just writing and having fun. Just got back from Gen Con, which is the biggest gamers convention in the world. It was a lot of fun.
How is that going with me reading that Dungeons and Dragons? I mean, that was the most complicated shit I ever read in my life.
I didn't even know that they were doing it. And my wife had read your blog when you were talking about it.
Right.
And she comes up and says, Bob, this sounds familiar. And I looked at it and I said, hey, that's one of my stories. How cool is that?
Well, let me ask you, Bob, since you write this stuff, where do you come up with those names and all that stuff? And can you pronounce those names? Because, I mean, it's like...
Hell no.
That's what I wanted to hear. The man that writes the Dungeons and Dragons, because they're meant to be read in your head, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't read it out loud usually. You read it in your head. So you say whatever you want, whatever sounds right and works.
I think you're giving a lot. I think you're fucking up the erection to a lot of geeks out there because they believe there are correct pronunciations to these words, and they're quick to tell me I pronounced Mesopotamia wrong, you know, because they know about the place. It was an interesting story when you take the names out of it. I think one of the most difficult things for me to do was to do the conversations between the elves and the three ladies, and I had to do voices. That was crazy.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. This whole thing is supposed to just be fun for me. You know what I mean? And a weird thing happened when I've been writing all these books, because I've been doing this for 28 years.
Wow.
I've written like 50 books.
See?
I'm the guy who killed Chewbacca.
Okay.
In a book.
Okay.
Seriously, I'm not kidding. And I had death threats from every Star Wars fan in the country.
Wait a minute. Whoa, pause.
Kind of funny, actually.
Hold up, whoa, pause. This is good. You killed Chewbacca in one of your books?
They made me. And what happened was Del Rey Books won the license to do the Star Wars books. I was working for them on a different series at the time, and they called me up and said, hey, we want you to kick off this big series for us. And so they told me what they had in mind in this book series they were writing, and they wanted me to do the first book, and I had to go from like point A to point B and come up with all these things that they were going to use later. So I wrote the outline, I sent it in, and then I get on a phone call with Lucasfilm and with Del Rey, and they said, this outlines exactly what we want, but didn't anyone tell you you have to kill Chewbacca? And I was like, screw that. But they talked me into it, so I did it, and then the death threat started.
So you killed a fantasy character, Chewbacca, and you got real death threats.
Absolutely. I had these like night terrors of a bunch of guys running up to me with lightsabers and cutting me into little pieces.
I never tripped off death threats. You know, myself, the only threats I ever took was when they came from people I actually knew. Like, you know, if I was in the street and I know these cats over here and, you know, such and such said he gonna kill you, well, then that's a true threat. Yeah. But when it comes from abstract people from nowhere, you know, we always in the streets, we say real dogs don't bark, they bite. You won't get a threat. You just catch a hot one. But anyway, hey, man, it was an honor to read your book. I mean,
the honor was mine, man. You have no idea. When I read that blog, and first of all, I was a big SVU fan, and I loved your character on that. And I'm not just sucking up, because you already did the reading, so even if you hate me, it doesn't matter. But when I found out that you had read one of the stories, I was like, this is like too cool. This is awesome. So the honor's mine. Thank you so much for being a part of that.
Hey, well, thank you, man. Thank you, man. You got me hip with the Dungeons and Dragons, people. One thing that Ice didn't have on his bucket list, but I'm in there now, so it's cool, and they ain't gave me nothing but love, so thank you, homie. All right? So we'll talk to you later. Feel free to call in.
All right. Well, if you're ever in Boston and you want to play a game, give me a call.
Okay, yo, that was Bob. And Bob, I'm not going to read another one of your books. I will be on the cover of the fucking Entertainment Weekly if I do it for the amount of money I'm going to charge you. No, I'm just fucking with you. It's difficult. And he said it, Mickey. He said these books are not meant to be read out loud.
You're supposed to read them to yourself.
So you can make the name up.
To your nerd friends.
Hey, yo, Ice. Talking to Bob was real sweet, but we also got the outtakes from the Dungeon and Dragon recording session exclusively on Final Level Podcast. Check it out.
To toss Duart be so easy just for her to say you. Pulling himself up and starting back to the east and the Pegasi. These motherfuckers like directions. east to the south to the north. Yeah, I can chart. I think you could chart this shit out on a map. I think that's what this is all about. Yeah, these sentences are so fucking long. This motherfucker likes commas, right? Shown it them. I don't know what that means. All right, whatever. I'll say it. Here we go. A mighty warrior, no doubt. How's that for a bitch? Is this how kingdoms are born? Oh, shit. You got to get all your boys high and have them do mushrooms and shit. Say, make some name. Relafane, Relafit. Write that one down. Elephant, Relafit. Obadul, Drizdit. I never even seen that word in my life. How do you say that word? How do you say that? But, man, you try to read this shit. It's the hardest part about reading this shit. I couldn't write this shit to save my life. What is a scimitar? That little part right there seemed like the most simple shit he wrote so far. That was like I was reading a regular book by covering her. Damn. I can look at normal words and now I think they're weird words. Jesus. What a difference a day makes. That's what I say. You never know what you're going to do. You never know. You don't guide life, you ride life. And here I am reading Dungeons and Dragons and playing a cop on TV. What the fuck, man? If you watch Iso's Coco, I look at that shit and go, God damn it. This shit is crazy.
Elevating, baby. You don't stay at the same level you started at. That's why you play them games, right? Do you stay on this first level every game you play on, or you elevate it? Keep elevating.
Try to get to the final level.
Final Level Podcast. God damn it.
Yeah.
Okay, yo, this is Final Level Podcast number 17. This is one of the favorite segments on our show.
Oh, yeah.
It's called I'm Not a Hater, but I Hate Shit. Now, we all know what a hater is. A hater is a motherfucker that's envious or mad, and we don't deal with that on this podcast, Jack.
Or even a gossiper.
We not into nothing that as soon as you tell me who's fucking who or who, I could give a fuck. What do we say when people come to us as gossip, Mickey? You sound like a bitch. You sound like a bitch to me right now. So we don't deal with that. But that's our kid. You could take that to Combat Jack show. When somebody says they say a bitch right now. Yeah, we don't care. Now,
I hate it.
And what do you hate right now, Mickey?
I hate when I'm on a fucking airplane. I'm paying $25 for my luggage to get on that plane. And they won't let me lock my luggage.
Or they don't do that? They don't let you
lock it? They don't do that no more. But they keep my luggage open, then I get it and shit missing when I get to the other end.
Now, we just heated up the airlines a few. This is our second segment on Not a Hater, but a Hate Shit. And Mickey is mad because just recently, where did we go, Mick? We flew to
Richmond, Virginia. Real local, man.
Richmond, Virginia. That's why you said the other motherfucker was from
Real
Richmond.
Local, man. Now, that was Raleigh, not Richmond.
Okay. James Brown's home of James Brown. So we get there, right? And my suitcase is open. I had one suitcase. It was an overnight trip. We opened the damn thing. They stole I had a little speaker. You know the speakers you use for your iPhone? Little monster jump off.
Oh, they got the little monster jump.
Stole my shit, right? And I had a little extra battery pack that you use on your phone when your phone runs out.
That's some petty thievery shit, man.
Yeah. Now, this is what happens when you talk about shit like that. Some dumb motherfucker says, well, you got money. You can just get it. That's not the point.
Pocket. You sound like a bitch.
Yeah, you sound like a bitch with that shit. That's my shit, and I'm playing on the plane. Why are you stealing out of my shit? So, now here's the cold thing. When I was growing up, one of my best friends was named Gary Burnett. And he worked at airlines back in the day. And he put the bags in the luggage. And the nigga told me straight up, they steal out of the luggage. He told me if you got a Louis bag, they throw that shit in the air. He said, he told me, he said they personally pick shit out. And he told me that he could open up any suitcase, word is bond, run his hand through it
like a fucking magic wand
and tell me everything that was in the goddamn suitcase.
That's crazy.
So they stole my shit. Now the full price of all this stuff might be like less than $100.
That's not the point, bro.
That's not the point.
They went through you wouldn't have packed luggage, it if you didn't want it.
Yeah, now, man. What do you do when this happens on an airline?
You know what you do? What I've learned is this, man. And this is the beauty of social media. You can go and complain to like the service department. You could do this and you could try to get on the phone. You get on Twitter, particularly somebody like yourself, and you say, I don't fuck with this airline. You do that. they will reach out to you immediately.
Okay, we about to do that. What airline was that?
United Airlines.
United motherfucking Airlines stole my shit.
You gotta at them. Get on Twitter and say
Nah, fuck that. We're on a podcast. We got a few 100,000 of you motherfuckers.
No.
We
They
ain't
got
fucking
somebody,
with y'all.
They got somebody looking over their Twitter
Yeah, okay,
account
they look over Twitter.
You send that, they will call you in 2 seconds.
On the flight from
LaGuardia Airport.
LaGuardia Airport.
To Richmond, Virginia. Y'all
And-
know where that at, United Airlines.
United Airlines, somebody on that flight stole Ice-T shit and he's pissed. And motherfucker, you got my shit and you're probably listening to this podcast with my goddamn speaker, you motherfucking cocksucker. Fuck you. United Airlines.
Combat Jack.
Yeah.
What you think about niggas just stealing shit out of your motherfucking luggage? Won't let you lock your luggage.
And I used to be a thief. There's nothing a thief hates worse than getting stole from. You know what I'm saying? And don't tell me karma, motherfucker. You sound like a bitch right now. We are pissed at, I'm not a hater, but I hate shit. I hate
United Airlines.
United Airlines
Get your shit
stole
together,
some
United
shit out of my motherfucker. Not even some expensive shit. That's why I don't put jewelry. This is the word. Here's the game. Don't put nothing really valuable in your carry-on. I mean,
some dirty goddamn drawers in there. Let him reach his hand in some shitty ass
under
underwear.
this shit. I mean, you know, the scary thing is, even with Coco, her shoes are like jewelry. I mean, girls' shoes can cost $300, $400, $500. Shit. Soon as she saw that, she saw my speaker gone. She said, "My shoes." She went and started checking for her shoes. I'm like, bitch, I'm talking about my motherfucking speaker. She's like, "Well, my shoes, though. Oh, my shoes are there." So, women, if you're worried about your shoes, you might want a nice size carry-on for your kicks, too, because I'm sure they'll steal some shoes. If some Louboutins, red bottoms.
Take it home to their girl. They'll take it home to their girl.
If my
man.
trip is less than 2 weeks, I'm taking one carry-on, man.
It's scary, man. All right, so we not a hater, but we hate shit. You know, we hate airline food. We also hate the fact y'all stealing out of our luggage, but won't allow us to lock it. I'm not a hater, but I hate that shit. Yo, this is the Final Level Podcast number 17, and this is the philosophy segment. Stop thinking about that once you've won, that it's time to slow down. You know, when you reach the top, that's when you push. That's when you really push, and that's how you change levels. So the bottom line is, like, you know, we get this win in our life, and we relax. It's called resting on your laurels. You know, and that's the mistake. It's like, at the moment you're at your hottest, that's when you push. You push hard. So when your record is really, really, really hot, that's when you say, yeah, you know, I've been thinking about doing some movies. You know, you push because that's when all eyes are on you. And in reality, it's like, if you're in the gym, you know, I work out, and if you're in the gym and you finally push that weight you've been trying to do, that's when you put a little more on. You don't stop, because now you're going to hit that plateau. You got to put a little bit on. Even if you only do one, that might be the only time you've ever done that one, and that's how you start to move up.
At that moment.
And it always gets the most difficult when you're about to change levels.
Yep.
You know, when you're about to go from a worker to a boss, or a boss to a mogul. It's going to be, you know, it's like we relay everything to video games. You know, to get to that next level, you got to pass that big boss. And there will be a test, and there'll be so many people say, you can't do it, you can't do it, you can't do it. But once you break it, you hit another level of reality with a bunch of other people like, oh, you're here now. This is what we talk about on this level. Shit that they don't talk about on that other level. And it's very funny, though, but one of my other philosophies is, if you want to advance in the game, is get with somebody older than you and suck the game out of them and get every bit of information you can out of them. Well, if you ever can get with somebody on another level.
We did that at this podcast. We had James Altucher. Wow, he's got it.
Yeah, the guy made $5 million, blew it. Then he made $15 million, blew it. Now he's worth $730 million. This is a motherfucker. So
I hope he don't blow that.
Well, when you get around motherfuckers like that, you sit there, you shut the fuck up, and you suck up the game.
Soak it up.
And those advantages to having somebody who's on that next level is invaluable. You know, you you can't get it any other way than by trying to learn it the fucking hard way.
So the moral of the story is when you're at the top of your peak, you push harder.
Push harder.
And you will advance to the next level of the game.
Yes,
if
sir.
you ever plan on doing it, that's when you're going to do it. Okay, yeah, so we wrapping this thing up, Mickey. It's been good. We got Combat Jack in the building.
Yeah, that was dope, man. He definitely got his podcast is a motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, he's the man right now. He's the man right now.
Combat Jack.
This show has come a long way, and people we're very happy to have this audience, and very happy to have a lot of people that wouldn't normally listen to podcasts tune in to us, and that's what's up. We got my buddy just showed up over here, Seth.
Seth, what's up, baby?
And Seth
What's up,
What's
Nick?
up? Seth
I'm
was
good.
on the show earlier. What episode were you on, Seth?
Oh, hey, I think it was 5, 6.
Five or six.
5 or 6.
When we talking about street racing,
Yeah,
and bull
yeah.
running. Seth came over because we're about to go from here. We're going to an event. What's the event, Mick?
Crush Groove reunion, man. Curtis Blow's doing it down at BB King's, man. So we gonna head on down to BB King's on 47. You going with us, right, Seth?
Yeah.
That's why he came.
Yeah, but I'm saying if we're gonna roll together, or you gonna leave earlier, man? Because we're gonna leave in a few.
He's going to be doing 150 miles an hour.
Driving
there.
faster than motherfucker. He's a speed. That's a Gold Speed Racer for real, man. That's Speed Racer.
Now, didn't you guys just have an incident where Seth came to the Body Count show and you and Al P and all y'all jumped in the car with Seth?
Yeah, we was up in Jersey,
Yeah, in Camden.
in Camden, New Jersey,
Camden.
and then we all got out of there in my ride.
He drive like a motherfucker, but with all that stuff up in there, man, we ain't gonna say how fast you was going.
We were in Mexico actually, so
Okay.
it's all legal.
My buddy Al P said, man, that boy Seth drive like a goddamn fool. It was, and he said that Shannon, your girl, was comfortable and calm.
Oh yeah, she just
she
sits
was nice
back.
and quiet.
She's used to that speed.
Yeah, she doesn't look too much. She doesn't look at the speedometer. But that was my new ride.
That was the Audi, right?
The Audi, the V10, all worked out.
You can now people out there. Seth is one of my partners. He's very heavy in the car game. You can follow him on what's your Instagram?
I've got Exotics Rally and also Art of Rap NY.
Now build on the art of rap. We've been talking about the art of rap music, but what do you
But how
guys
you
do at art
spelling
of
your
rap?
art of
right
rap
now?
though? How you spelling
My art of
it?
rap is Art, A-R-T, of, and Rap, W-R-A-P, N-Y, for New York. That's a new business. I came out with the concept where we're wrapping vehicles with the vinyl lettering and vinyl wraps. We do business wraps. We do just regular color changes, accents to cars. We also do the clear paint protection to protect the cars. And it's a new business that we're building up.
And he just recently did one of my cars. He did the hood on the Ghost just to freak it out for a minute. It's crazy.
Yeah, we did the hood and the and some accents in chrome for you. So we laced it up this week, and it looks good, and we're going to be taking it out to
Do you do Volkswagens too?
the new one. Volkswagens we can handle too. We got you.
Cause I got a Volkswagen.
Mick, we can do your,
I ain't got a
we can do your
Ghost.
mini bike, your GoPro,
I ain't got a
whatever you
Ghost,
got.
man. I got a moped. You do mopeds?
Absolutely.
Wrap that shit in polka dots, nigga. Fuck you talking about? This
That's
is the art of
crime
rap.
rate, baby.
But it's
Come on,
cold.
man.
I'm gonna tell you how fly Seth is, though. You know, when he came up with the idea for the company, which is definitely a play on words, you know, he didn't just start the company. He called me. He said, Ice, man, I want to do this company. I got an idea called the Art of Rap. You know, I don't know if that would be disrespectful to hip hop. I mean, he was very concerned. I'm like, nah, it's actually fly. But just the fact that he thought to say, you know, I'm gonna mess with this term you created. Is it cool? That just lets you know his character. He's a fly
respect, bro. It's
motherfucker.
called respect. It's called respect.
Yeah, that's
Seth
what it is.
Rose, my man.
Yeah, so we gonna have some fun tonight. Everybody, thanks for listening. Combat Jack, you want to say anything signing out?
Nah, man, I think you guys are great. I appreciate coming through, man. I can't wait for your interview.
Yeah.
I'm saying, yo, Mickey,
Doing
man,
it in 2 weeks.
It's an honor to meet you, man, and keep doing what y'all doing, man. This podcast thing is getting bigger and bigger, and I foresee in the near future that they're going to have podcast stations in everybody's car.
That's what's up.
Yes, sir.
Well, you know, the thing of it is what Final Level Podcast and Combat Jack Podcast are allies.
Yes, sir.
You dig what I'm saying? So you come at us, you got to come. Now we got two guns pointed at you.
Bang, bang.
That's what it is. Final Level, Combat Jack show. We in and out of this motherfucker like we stole something.
Salutes.
Be good.
That's how I'm living. 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 That's how I'm living.